We are going to create a Google form and send it out so we can create a two-way frequency table. Now you can use this in your classroom so you'll automatically have that two-way frequency table. So once you are in your Google Drive, we will create a new form. So we're going to click New and we're going to go to More and we're going to go to Google Forms. And I'm just going to really quickly make a 2-question survey. It's probably going to be ridiculous, but it's just going to prove the point. So we're going to change it from an untitled form. My computer's going a little bit slow because I'm doing a screen capture right now. So it's going to be called Math 2 Survey that we would send out to our students. I'm not going to put a description, and it needs to be, or each question has to have 2 options in order to truly be a two-way frequency table. Of course, you can expand this idea. For example, for question 1, if you wanted to say, what grade are you in? You would have 4 options. I'm going to pretend like everybody in your class is either a freshman or a sophomore, just so we can have 2 options. So, what grade are you in? And option 1, well, it is multiple choice. Option 1 will be 9th. Option 2 will be 10th. And we only have those 2, and this is going to be a required question. And we're going to add another question, and then we'll just have something ridiculous that we completely make up, like what would you like to have for lunch? And then we'll have 2 options for that, and obviously you can change the question and make it whatever you'd like for it to be. So I'm going to put a hamburger or a hot dog. Okay, and this is also a required question. We're going to change the settings a little bit, so we come up here to where the little gear is and we click that. I'm going to take it off of where it says restrict to Asheboro City Schools users, or whatever yours would say, and that I believe is the only setting that I'm going to change, and you can tinker with that as much as you see necessary. And then I'm going to send the form. The form is ready to go. I'm going to email it to, now I'll email it to my students, but for now, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to email it to myself. And there I go. I click send. Now what you can't see is that I have my school computer up on the side, and my email is just about to come in, and I'm going to take the survey. There you go. You probably heard that thing. So on the other screen that you can't see, I'm filling out the survey, but this is what your students would do. And as soon as the survey results start to come in, I can see it under responses. So I'm going to click responses, and at this point in the class, the students are taking the survey. So I'm going to take the survey and just make up some answers. Let's say I'm in the 10th grade and I would like to eat a hot dog. I click submit. As soon as I click submit, you see the responses that are coming in. Now, as soon as your first response is in, you have an option here, and that option is to create a spreadsheet. So that's what we're going to do. As soon as your first option, your first survey is in, we're going to do that. So create a spreadsheet, and I'm going to call it Math 2 Survey Responses, and we will click Create. Okay. It pulls that survey spreadsheet up, the responses up, and over here on the side, I'm going to create a two-way frequency table. So we're going to have 9th graders right here. We're going to have 10th graders here. And here are the people that wanted a hamburger. And here are the people that wanted a hot dog. And now here's the tricky part. Instead of having to count all the responses as they come in, there is a certain command that I can use that will automatically do that for me. So since my first response is a 10th grader that wants a hot dog, I'm going to put it here just so the numbers will work out right. It would work out right otherwise, but it would just give me a 0. So I'm going to press equals, and the command I'll use is count ifs. COUNTIFS, and then parentheses. Okay, it guides you through here on the screen. You can see what it's talking about. But in this command that I'm going to use, I want to count everything from B2 all the way down to ever how far I think it'll go. So let's suppose I'm going to use this on all my classes and I have 80 kids. Then I want to probably leave a little bit of leeway and drag it down to about 90. It's taken forever to get down there. So I'm going to bring this down to about the 90th row, and that's just up to you how far down you want to bring it. And we see right here that it's from B2 to B90. Well, what am I counting? I'm counting, I'm going to scroll up so I can see it. I'm counting everywhere between B2 and B90 that it says 10th. Oops, that needs to be in quotation marks. 10th in quotation marks, comma. And I also want to count everywhere between C2, see where it highlighted in purple over here, colon, to C90, and I could have dragged it, but it would have taken forever like it did a minute ago. C2 to C90, comma, and then I want it to say a hot dog. And it has to say word for word what it would be. I can't put hot dog, I'd have to put a hot dog. I don't think it's case sensitive though. When I press enter, it's going to count all the times that it says 10th grade over here and a hot dog over here. As of now, that's going to be 1. So when I press enter, it should say 1, and it does. Okay, right here, I want it to do the same thing, only I want it to say 10th grade and a hamburger. So real quickly, I'm going to set up the rest of them. It looks cumbersome. It really does. But once you get the hang of it, it goes quickly. And keep in mind that if you have 90 students, you don't want to have to count all that all the way down. I'm trying to scroll back up. My computer's a little slow right now. So equals count ifs, and then everywhere between B2 and B90, comma, and then quotation marks, 10th grade, or just 10th, comma, after you close the quotations, and then everywhere from C2, colon, to C90, comma, and this is for hamburgers, so quotations, and then a hamburger, and I'll close my parentheses. And that's a 0, which makes sense because I don't have those responses in yet. And then I'll do the same thing for these two. I'll do it rather quickly. Equals count ifs, B2 to B90. And we are dealing with 9th graders here, so 9th in quotations and then comma, and then C2, colon, C90, comma, and this is for hamburger, so a hamburger, and again it has to be letter for letter the way it's worded in there, otherwise it will not count it. And that's 0 as well, which makes sense because we only have one response so far. And then for this one we'll put count ifs equals count ifs, B2 to B90, comma, and then we're dealing with 9th graders, and then C2, colon, C90, and we're dealing with people that like hot dogs, a hot dog. Close the quotes, close the parentheses, and there we go. And we have our two-way frequency table. Now, on the other computer, really quickly, and I know you can't see it, but on the other computer, I'm going to fill out a couple more, and you'll be able to see how when these things come in, it automatically populates that two-way frequency table. So this time I'm going to be a 9th grader that wants a hamburger, and I have just submitted it. It'll take it just a second to kick in, and while there it goes. And now I'm going to be a 10th grader that wants a hot dog. So now there's another one. See how it comes in automatically. It's very convenient. So once you have that set up, it automatically does it. You don't have to type it over and over or count it over and over. So I want to be a 10th grader that wants a hamburger now, and there we go. We have a really small class of only 4 people that have responded. This next part, of course, is optional, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to make a total. And then when I do that, in this cell right here, I want to total up these two cells. So it's going to be equal to the sum, and then parentheses, of these two cells. So this is H10 and H11. So H10 colon H11. There we go. And it added those two up, and it gave me a 1. And this is the sum of I10 to I11. Actually, I can just drag that one over from grabbing that corner, just like you can in Microsoft Excel. There we go. And it added those up. And we're going to make a total here as well. Obviously, I know what 1 plus 1 is. This is not a big deal. I knew what 1 plus 0 was, but if the numbers were bigger, it would be easier to deal with. So we're going to make a total column over here. This is equal to the sum of H10 to I10, and then we will drag this one down. Actually, we'll drag it down 2. So here we see that there are 2 students in this cell. There are 2 students that want hamburgers. There are 2 students that want hot dogs. And there's a total of 4 students. So again, if I was to submit another response, this time I'm going to be a freshman that wants a hot dog, because we don't have any of those. And as soon as I click submit, it updates it. Now we have 5 students in there. And now we have a two-way frequency table, and everything is set up for us. The students have a little bit of ownership in it because it's a survey that they filled out.